If you're watching this, you probably want to drop weight fast. And let's be honest, you've probably tried before more than once. You think the issue is willpower or discipline or the time you don't have. It's not any of those things. It's the fat loss advice you've been following is wrong. But after coaching over 25,000 clients, I've seen what actually works and what's a waste of time when it comes to your fat loss journey. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the most brutally honest advice I can to help you drop weight fast, even if you've failed before, even if you feel stuck, and even if you might not be motivated right now. So let's get into it. Number one, stop trying to lose weight slowly. Now, for a very long time, I have said slow and sustainable weight loss is the way to go. And it is, but stick with me. Sometimes if I'm coaching a client who has a lot of weight to lose, or if I know that client really wants to see the number on the scale go down, then doing specific things to make them lose weight faster will give them a dopamine hit and make them feel like they're seeing progress quickly, which will then get them to buy in and keep going because now they have the motivation and momentum they didn't have before. So I might do something that's a bit unsustainable for a short period of time to get that scale to drop quickly to tap into their motivation. And now, I am upfront about this from the beginning. There's a reason most people lose weight and gain weight their entire life is because they don't do something that is sustainable long term. But if you know going into it, you're only gonna do something for 1 or 2 weeks with the sole purpose of having that scale go down, and then you'll transition into something more sustainable later, that is different than just trying to do quick fixes or unsustainable things for a long period of time, because you won't be able to stick with that and that will backfire. And if you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, I would love to see the scale go down quickly and I don't even care if it's just for a couple of weeks, then what you might do is what we call a rapid fat loss protocol for 1 to 2 weeks, which by the way, I've done a video on exactly what that is. I will link that at the end of this video. And once you do that and you see the scale go down, you transition to something more sustainable and then you can take it from there. And you can do this intermittently. For example, one of our clients, Nirja, she was able to do the rapid fat loss for 1 to 2 weeks and then do something sustainable for 4 to 8 weeks. Do the rapid fat loss for 1 to 2 weeks, do something sustainable for 4 to 8 weeks. And this way you get the best of both worlds. You speed up the process, you see that quick weight loss, but it's not so much that you can't be consistent with it for the long run. And by the way, if you want to know how many calories you should be eating to get your rapid fat loss calories, click the link in the description below. There'll be a free calorie calculator. Now, you might be watching this and feel motivated to do it. So let's go ahead and talk about how motivation actually works and what you can do to take advantage of it to see the fastest progress possible. Number 2, how to use motivation. Here's the truth. Motivation might get you off your ass, but it will not keep you going. It's not built to. It's the wrong tool for the job. It's like trying to use a hammer when you should be using a screwdriver. And most people do something like they get fired up on Sunday night or Monday morning, you write the plan, you buy the groceries, you meal prep, you do the whole 9, and you swear this week is gonna be different. Then Thursday hits, you don't feel like it, and the whole thing burns to the ground until you have the motivation to restart on Monday again. Is this sounding familiar? The way I think of this is motivation is like the smoke alarm. It's loud, it gets your attention, but discipline is the firefighter. Motivation says something's wrong, discipline grabs the hose, shows up, and puts the damn fire out even when it's uncomfortable or even when they don't feel like it. One of our clients, Anik, used to say, I just need to get motivated again. And instead of waiting for motivation, because it never stays around, we just picked 3 rules he had to follow every day, no matter what. Things he know he could do on a daily basis, even when he wasn't feeling motivated. Because this way, whether he was motivated or not, he was still sticking with his plan and he was still making progress. And as you can see, he made incredible progress. When you can learn how to take the action, even and especially when you don't feel like it, that is the only way that you are going to change. And you'll lose weight faster than you ever have before. Stop waiting for motivation. And speaking of sticking with it and consistency, that's exactly what our next point will help you with. Probably more so than anything you've ever heard before. Number 3, you need a season of no. Most people talk about you should be living a balanced life with your fitness, your work, your relationships. And I'm just here to give you the truth. That's not what is going to get you to lose weight the fastest. Right now, you don't need balance. You need a season of no. A short, focused period of time where you say no to everything that doesn't align with your weight loss and fitness goals. Because you keep trying to juggle fat loss with bottomless mimosa brunches and going out on the weekends and indulging in treats, sweets, alcohol, all the above. And you justify it because you're like, this is just one time. But that one time happens 4 times a week and it happens every single week. And every time you say yes to something that pulls you off track, you're saying no to your goals. There are seasons for everything. And if you want to see radical, massive change in your body, your fat loss, your physique, you're gonna have a short season where your actions are louder than your excuses. Where you ask yourself, is this going to get me closer to my weight loss goals? And if the answer is no, you don't do it. And that could mean hanging out with friends that don't align with your goals. That could mean going for the extra drinks or the extra snacks. That could mean staying out late, sleeping in, skipping your workout. Because at some point, you have to be a little bit unbalanced at first to then find balance later on. One of our clients, Monique, was in the cycle of being good for a couple of days, but then would get thrown off track on the weekends or when she wasn't feeling like it. And so we told her, you need 60 days where you lock in, you have a season of no, and you stick to your goals. And that's exactly what she did. In those 60 days, she lost 16 pounds, which was more than the previous 6 months of progress that she made. So pick a time, set a time frame, and for the next 30 to 60 days, you say no to anything that doesn't align with your goals. Get selfish and make your goals a top priority. It's one of the main reasons our clients immediately start seeing faster progress when they join us for coaching. They commit to their goals and make it the top priority. And if you want to commit to your goals, click the link in the description of this video to learn more about our online one-on-one coaching. Which brings us to our next point. If you truly want to lose weight faster, you have to start focusing on what 90% of people don't focus on. Number 4, your sleep is a fat loss multiplier. If you want fat loss to feel easier than ever, you have to stop walking around like a half-charged phone. You don't need a new supplement or a new diet or a new detox tea. You need to get fucking sleep. You wake up groggy, you drag yourself throughout the day, you crave carbs, you skip your workouts, you skip your walks, and you wonder why you keep falling off. A lack of sleep destroys your willpower, it increases your cravings, and it wrecks your recovery. And yet somehow sleep is the first thing that you sacrifice. Sleep isn't a luxury. And I think especially right now in today's day and age, there's this weird thing where people wear this badge of honor of like, oh, I only slept 4 hours. I only slept 5 hours last night. You not sleeping a lot is not a flex. I'm just gonna tell you right now. And I understand If you are a parent with young kids, I get it. It might be a bit harder for you, but that doesn't mean you still can't make it a priority and do the best you can. Because sleep is an amplifier for everything fat loss. You don't just burn more fat when you sleep, you actually burn more calories, but you make better choices when you're awake. Think about when you're physically and mentally exhausted, are you really going to stay on track with your diet? Are you really going to go out of your way to get those extra daily steps you know you should get? Are you really going to cook dinner when you can just order takeout or DoorDash? You think you need more discipline and willpower, you need more sleep. That's what one of our clients, Amanda, thought. And she just felt stuck, that she felt like she was working really hard, but she didn't have the discipline or willpower. When we took a closer look, we just realized she wasn't getting enough sleep. 5 to 6 hours per night was what she was averaging. When we made an intentional push to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, in a couple of weeks, her scale started to drop, her cravings disappeared, she was lifting heavier, building more muscle, because sleep is the fat loss amplifier. So set a bedtime. People have an alarm to wake up. Set an alarm to go to bed. Set a rule that you're not going to scroll on your phone for more than 20 minutes at night. Make sure your room is cold and dark, because that will improve your sleep. If you want to take magnesium before you go to bed, that will also improve your sleep. The magnesium that I use will be down in the link in the description below. And if you're serious about speeding up your fat loss, stop thinking you can out-discipline a 4-hour night of sleep. And once you start getting more sleep, you need to hear this next harsh truth, but if you hear it with an open mind, it will help you lose fat faster than probably anything else in this video. Number 5, you're not tracking accurately. Most people think they're in a calorie deficit and they get frustrated when it's not working for them. But the reality is you're probably just in denial. It's not your metabolism. It's the snacks you forgot to track. It's the dinners that you're not tracking. It's the alcohol or the sweets you're not tracking. Most people crush it Monday through Friday, or they crush it breakfast, lunch, and snacks. But then when the weekend or when dinner time rolls around and you suddenly forget to put your food into your calorie counting app, or you think I was good all day, I was good all week, it shouldn't matter that much if I go a little bit off plan. And let me be clear, if you're making progress, then cool, it's all good. But if you're not making progress or you want to make faster progress, then no, this is not all good. If you're not tracking, you're guessing. And if you're guessing, you're probably overeating, and that leads to guessing results. We are terrible at guesstimating how many calories we are eating. There was actually a study that was done where people thought they were eating a 1,200 calorie diet, and when they actually started tracking, they were eating closer to 1,800 to 2,200 calories per day. And the fix to this is just brutal honesty. You have to track everything. You have to finish tracking your dinner. You have to finish tracking your weekends. You have to do it. We had a client, Lewis, who was stuck in a plateau, and he swore up and down that he was eating the correct amount of calories, and we did a food audit. He took a picture of everything he ate for 7 days straight, and he had to put it in his food tracker. And it comes to show he was tracking most of the things, but dinner on Friday night, the couple of drinks out with his friends, the snacks at work he forgot to track, these little things were adding up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 800 extra calories per day that were not getting tracked. And so he thought he was doing all the right things, and he was frustrated why he wasn't seeing progress. But when we actually took a look at it, he was eating more than he thought he was. And he wasn't doing it maliciously. He wasn't doing it out of like intent of not tracking. It's just life happens. But that's why you have to tighten it up and you have to track everything 7 days a week. And within the first 2 weeks of him doing this, he was able to drop over 6 pounds. So track your food every day, every bite, every snack, 7 days a week. If you go out to eat, guesstimate to the best of your ability. I understand you might not be able to be perfect, but Like we talked about in the previous point, you might have to go through a season of no to going out to eat 3, 4, 5 times a week. Maybe it's only once per week max for right now because you need to be in control of how many calories you are eating. Doesn't mean it has to be forever, but I also had a client one time, her name was Jessica. She was eating out 4 to 5 times a week, and she thought she was eating her 1,700 calories per day. But we had 1 week where she didn't eat out at all. She tracked everything from home. She still ate 1,700 calories. In that 1 week, she lost 3 pounds. And she asked me, Eric, why did I lose weight this week? I was eating the same amount of calories. No, Jessica, you are not, because when you go out to eat, you're not gonna be able to be fully accurate with your calories. Now, I'm not saying you can never go out to eat, but for a period of time, you may need to have a season of no. So now that you're hitting your calories, you're doing everything right, what happens when all of a sudden the scale spikes up 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds? You're spiraling, you feel like a failure, and you want to quit. And that's exactly what we're gonna talk about in our next point. Point number 6, the scale fluctuates. Stop quitting when it does. The scale didn't ruin your progress. Your reaction to the scale did. One bad weigh-in and you throw the whole week away. And you were crushing it. You were hitting your steps, you were tracking your calories, you're eating way healthier than you were. And then boom, just because one day you wake up and you gained 1.8 pounds overnight, you think you ruined all your progress, you feel like a failure, you say, why am I working this hard and my scale isn't going down? And then so you say, fuck it, I'd rather be fat. You go off track, you eat like shit all weekend, you don't track your calories, and you wake up Monday morning and you're like, I still want to lose weight. And so this process restarts over and over. You have to understand fat loss is not linear. The scale reflects everything in your body that you weigh with. This is the water in your body, the salt, the carbs, the inflammation. If you're a woman who's on her period, if you just had a really hard workout and you're really sore, your body's gonna store more water weight. If you didn't sleep as well the night before, or you ate later the night before, that's gonna show up weighing heavier on the scale because your body didn't digest all of the food that you gave it yet. There are so many reasons the scale can spike up. Progress isn't measured in 24 hours. It's measured over weeks. If you can't handle a few bumps in the road, don't expect to get to your destination. One of our clients, Julia, was ready to quit one time after her scale spiked up after a night of sushi, but we zoomed out, and for the 7-day average, she was still trending down in her weight. So we got her to stick with it, and the next week, she was able to drop all of the weight she gained from the spike up and then some. All because she didn't quit and she remained consistent. And I want to show you something. This is a graph of me losing 20 pounds in 10 weeks. Do you see how this is every single weigh-in? Not every weigh-in is down. There were multiple times on this graph where my weight spiked up, and guess what? I still lost 20 pounds in 10 weeks. So the next time the scale goes up, please stop freaking out. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not ruining your progress. It's normal. You just have to keep going. Instead of freaking out over the scale, focus on what you can control, because fat loss doesn't come from guessing. It comes from stacking small daily wins. And one of those biggest, most overlooked wins, movement daily. On purpose. Not just when you feel like it or not just when it's convenient. If you want to lose fat quicker without having to starve yourself, you have to make sure you're doing this next non-negotiable. Number 7, hit 70,000 steps per week, no matter what. Steps are the most underrated fat loss tool on planet Earth, and maybe planet Mars and other planets too. And especially with most people having desk jobs these days and commuting to and from work, you sit on your ass all day. You might hit the gym for 3 to 5 times a week for an hour each time, but the other 23 hours of the day, what movement are you doing? And then you wonder why fat loss is slow. Even when you're working out and eating healthier, you're not broken, you're just too inactive. You don't need to do 2 hours of cardio. You don't need to suffer. You just need to find a way to hit 70,000 steps over the course of the week. And you might have heard before, you should walk 10,000 steps per day. I don't think that's realistic to every day walk 10,000 steps. I think it's a great goal to shoot for. But instead of looking at just your daily steps, if you can look at it over the course of the week. For example, if you know Mondays are very busy for you and you're lucky to get 7,000 or 8,000 steps, maybe you get 8,000 steps on Monday, but maybe Friday you work from home, it's a bit less busy, and you can get 10, 11, 12,000 steps on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What's important isn't just your daily step count, it's the overall weekly step count that you're getting. Or we've had clients in the past where maybe they love hiking on the weekends and they might get 15, 20,000 steps because they hike. That's awesome. And so even if you only got 6,000 or 7,000 steps on a Wednesday, your weekly step count is 70,000. That's what I want you to shoot for. One of our clients, Marcel, was stuck at a weight loss plateau for a little while. He was already dialed in with his workouts. He was already eating clean and hitting his calories, but from the nature of his job, he wasn't able to get a ton of steps. So what we had to do was make it a priority. He had to get steps earlier in the day and take some extra mini walks throughout the day. He had to, on the weekends, make sure to make it a priority to get 10, 12,000 steps a day when he had some extra time. And remember, these 70,000 steps don't have to come all at once. I would hope not, that would take you a long time. But even little 10 or 15 minute walks can get you an extra 1,000 steps, 1,500 steps during your day. So don't think you have to do it all at once. This makes it more attainable and more realistic for most people, myself included. I know some of these were some harsh truths, but I really hope you take them and implement them into your life because you will immediately start seeing faster progress. And if you want more personalized one-on-one help, click the link in the description below to apply for our one-on-one online coaching program. We've helped over 25,000 people lose fat, and we'd love to see if we can help you next. And as promised, if you made it this far and you want to know the exact rapid fat loss strategy we use with our clients, watch this video right here.